For my grandparents and just about every generation before them, life was physically more demanding, and fitness was part of the daily routine. Now we don't have to struggle as much in order to survive. The need to have physical activity is diminished to such a degree that, in fact, we're desperately trying to find ways to get it back into our lives. But here's the catch. Your fitness goals should have a purpose behind them, or you won't succeed. As a practicing physician, I wanted to create a place that folks could go to that not only delivers great health information in a way that's understandable and useful, but also share inspirational stories to help us all grow. People think that once you're adults, you're done learning. You're not. In order to be successful, you have to have an open mind to learn. Real problems discussed in depth with real solutions. This is the Dr. Nandi Show. Hello, and thank you for joining us today. I'm Dr. Partha Nandi. On today's show, we'll talk about fitness with a purpose. When many people hear the word fitness, they think about going to the gym and lifting weights, but that's just taking a narrow view of the topic. The true health hero understands that, like our ancestors, we need to find ways to incorporate dynamic movement into our lives. Today, we'll speak with 3 experts who teach people to tap into their best selves through purposeful movement, and all of them do it in a slightly different way. But the idea is the same. Movement has an impact on nearly every process in the human body. We should all strive to get more of it into our lives. And coming up, we'll speak with an expert who says you don't have to count calories or spend hours at the gym to reach your fitness goals. Please stay with us.
I think the biggest mistake people make is jumping into a really rigid diet and depriving themselves of the foods they love and eating really small portions and stopping doing the things that they really enjoy, like going out to eat, social gatherings or whatever, and eventually they find themselves miserable.
Welcome back. You are watching the Dr. Nandi Show. And one of the main factors driving the obesity trend is what? Our lack of movement, right? So many of us sit for the majority of the day at the desk or behind the wheel. And man, are we busy. Most people have a million different things going on at once. You know what I mean? It's hard to cut a few hours out of the day to achieve purposeful movement. Joining us now is someone who's continually found it hard to stay focused when it came to reaching and maintaining her fitness goals. Please welcome Racquel Shelby. And I'm pleased also to welcome my friend Chad Tackett, founder of the Fitera Fitness Network. Now, Chad was formerly one of the first people to launch a successful fitness program on the internet. He's been a fitness coach for decades. Please, big round of applause. Thank you both. Appreciate it, Chad. Awesome to have you. Thank you. So, Racquel, tell me what's been going on. You've been trying to lose weight, but why?
Well, you know, my thing is to be in the public eye. I graduated with my degree in public relations, and I do vlogging. And so I want, you know, everyone's image conscious today.
Yeah.
They want you to look a certain way. Your hair's got to be a certain way. Your face has got to be a certain way. Your body has to be a certain way. But most importantly, 2 years ago, I was weighing in at 184 pounds.
Okay.
I have 3 children. So the first kid, you have them, the weight comes off. Second kid, the weight came off. Third kid came off, came back. I think it had a lot to do with I had switched from working, because I work at the hospital too. So I was getting a lot of movement being a nursing assistant. You had to move patients,
Sure.
put them here, put them there. And then I went behind the desk. And I started working midnights behind the desk. So
sat.
what are we doing? We're sitting, we're eating, we're dreaming, we're falling asleep. We're doing everything but moving. And then going home, having to tend to children, having to clean the house, having to finish my degree in mass comm PR. And it was just, you know, you're worn out. You're worn out being a wife, being a mother, then trying to do my own vlogging. I mean, so I finally said, I'm going to do this. I have to get it together, because at that point, my knees were starting to bother me. And that's the thing, people need to know that, you know, all that weight on your frame, especially considering your height, it
takes a toll.
Yeah, it takes a toll.
So you have a lot of obstacles, right? And you have obstacles. Chad, you've been doing this for decades, so I'm sure her story is a story you hear quite often, right? All of us are too busy, got too many things going on, but yet not be able to fulfill our goals. What's missing? What can we tell her?
Yeah, I think the biggest mistake people make is jumping into a really rigid diet and depriving themselves of the foods they love and eating really small portions and stopping doing the things that they really enjoy, like going out to eat, social gatherings or whatever, and eventually they find themselves miserable and they can't stick with that. And I see that every single day. They have best intentions, but you know, they deprive themselves, they're miserable, and they gain the weight back. Any weight that they lost, they gain it right back, and then they're more frustrated and discouraged and feel hopeless more so than they ever have. So I try to take a different approach and really strike a balance between healthy and effective so you get great results, but also really fun and delicious foods so that it's something that you can stick with for the rest of your life. And we start by teaching people really super simple meal guidelines where you're choosing the right foods at the right times and the right amounts in ways whether you're at home or at work or out to eat, and it's all right for you. And so no matter where you are, you know the right foods to eat, and it's all tailored to, you know, the lifestyle that you live, your personal budget, you know, just the lifestyle that you have, so it's realistic that you stick with. It's not just the right information that you need, it's the personal support as well. And that's what we really try to focus on, giving people the right information so that they know the right foods to eat at the right times, but also offering that personal support. So I'd love to extend my email if you'd like, and I can guide you through the program, answer any questions you have, hold you accountable, keep you motivated, and I think that's the key.
One of the most giving people on the planet, I know that for a fact. And the other thing I'll tell you, Racquel, is that what helps me is absolutely you're a PR, you know, your job is PR and you want to be out there on social media and everything else. But the other thing for me is finding a deeper purpose. For me, I need to do this because I want to be around for my kids and their kids. I don't want to be a burden to my kids. I don't want to be stuck in a nursing home with them saying, oh, Dad, you know, let me figure out what to do to help Dad again. I want to be there to support them and have them thrive. So what I would encourage you also is, I think a big thrust of it is, and I think that Chad was talking about, is finding what it is that needs to motivate you. And the other thing is that, you know, you're doing so much. How much do you sleep?
Oh my goodness.
Do you sleep at all?
Yeah, I sleep it. I sleep probably like from 12 to 6. So midnight to 6, about 6 hours.
Yeah, and so one of the things that people do, they have not great sleep as well. And one of the things that people don't understand is that when you don't sleep well, you tend to keep weight on. And so you need to sleep to lose weight. And the thing is that I'm sure, Chad, in your experience, how important is that?
Yeah, I think it's really important. I mean, if you don't have the energy, it's really hard to stay focused on your goals and having the right mindset when you go into a social gathering or going out to eat and choosing the right foods. If you're exhausted, it's just really hard to stay focused on your goals. And then the same with exercise as well. If you're not getting enough sleep and if you feel, you know, really tired, then it's a struggle. It's really tough. So yeah, sleep plays
huge, isn't it?
Very, very key role.
Yeah, thank you both. This is really useful. And coming up next, we'll take a break, but eating well and losing weight doesn't have to be boring because people think it does. Stay with us, we'll tell you otherwise.
A lot of people think you have two choices, either deprive yourself and eventually lose weight, hopefully, or just enjoy yourself and you know, just accept that you're going to be overweight. But I want to give people a third choice.
Welcome back. You're watching the Dr. Nandi Show. It's going to be an amazing show today. So many of my patients want to lose weight and feel better, but they also like to eat whatever they want, right? And the idea of going on a diet or counting calories is not appealing to anyone. But here's the thing. You can be healthy and still have fun, F-U-N, that's right, at the same time. Joining me again is Chad Tackett, founder of the online fitness community Fitera. And Fitera's Fast Track to Fat Loss program offers a unique product called FitFreeze. And it's ice cream, yes, ice cream that's high in protein and low in sugar. So, you know, like people are saying, Chad, what gives here? You know, the ice cream that they know is just the opposite. Yeah. High in sugar and no in protein.
Yeah, that's right.
And high in fat.
Yeah. Yeah, so FitFreeze is a product that I've been working on for about 12 years. I'm really excited about it. Yeah. Okay. It's high in protein and fiber and the right kinds of fat and low in sugar and calories. It's all natural, diabetic friendly, gluten-free, and it tastes good, so it's actually something that you can stick with. Makes eating healthy easy.
Now, why'd you come up with it? Why ice cream?
Yeah, well, two reasons. I had motivation, I guess, two reasons.
You love ice cream, don't you?
Well, I love ice cream, yeah. Three reasons. The first two, my family on my wife's side is predisposed to diabetes and heart disease, and so it scares me, absolutely scares me to death to think that my kids could be next in line for those, terrible diseases. So I'm always thinking of ways to incentivize them to eat healthy and live a healthy lifestyle without being too rigid or make healthy living feel like a punishment. So that's one. And the second is just offering the online weight loss program that I have for more than 23 years now. I've had the privilege of working with a lot of people, and I hear the same things over and over. They struggle with their sweet tooth or trying to fight the temptation of eating ice cream. So I started dreaming up ways of how can we create this healthy dessert. A lot of people think you have two choices, either deprive yourself and eventually lose weight, hopefully, or just enjoy yourself and just accept that you're going to be overweight. But I want to give people a third choice.
And the nice thing is that, you don't have to, and this is the key I think you talked about in the previous segment, is that deprivation doesn't work. Deprivation, the moment you have your body deprive yourself of something, it's what? It's just a prescription for failure. So I tell my patients, you want to not deprive yourself of really anything. It's always about content control and portion control. So with FitFreeze, you can do that. You can actually have a good time, and you're getting some nutrients. Again, you don't want to go crazy and eat, thousands of pounds of it every day, of course, but you want to be able to give yourself an option. And so is FitFreeze basically a frozen protein shake? Because people will think, I have a protein shake, if I freeze it, will I get FitFreeze?
Yeah, no, not really. I mean, a protein shake is basically protein powder with a little bit of artificial sweeteners, and protein alone isn't the right balance of nutrients that you need for healthy weight loss, and it certainly doesn't taste like ice cream.
Right.
So FitFreeze, on the other hand, has 16 grams of protein, 7 grams of fiber.
16 grams of protein in one portion like this.
In one little portion. 7 grams of fiber, which is so key for healthy weight loss to keep you full, satisfied, and energized, and then also the right kinds of fat. So instead of sitting down to a bowl of traditional ice cream and feeling guilty and sluggish and lethargic after and dreading weighing yourself the next day, with FitFreeze you can actually fuel your body with the right nutrients you need and then feel good about it. And because it's delicious, you can stick with it.
And it was an important concept. He mentioned a couple of things. Of course you want things high in protein, but for all those people who always think that just unopposed protein is the way to go, it's really not. And he's put fiber in this product because you need fiber, as he said, to stay full and satiated. So what that means in English is that you want to stay full, right?
That's
and
right.
it's also a way to be able to have slow absorption of stuff. So you want to get slow absorption, no rapid spikes of anything.
That's right.
And you got another thing is that you need fat, right? People think no fat is the best way, but really the good fat is the way to go. And then how does someone make this ice cream and eat it? Just tell us a little bit about it, because it's really not, doesn't always come in this form, does it?
Yeah, well, it comes in a variety of different sizes, but this is a single serving jar. It comes with powder filled up about 3/4 of the way.
Okay.
So yeah, it comes as a powder. You open the lid and fill up to the fill line with water, which is about 1/4 cup of water, and then screw on the lid, shake vigorously for about 10 seconds, throw it in the freezer, and then you have a healthy ice cream that's high in protein, fiber, and healthy fat, and low in sugar and calories, and it tastes really good, so it's easy to stick with.
And so the litmus test is, I want to ask you this tough question. The kids, your kids like it?
Yeah, they love it. They absolutely love it, yeah.
And are there any particular flavors that you would recommend?
Yeah, well, this is our newest flavor, is peanut butter ice cream flavor. Both my kids.
Who doesn't like peanut butter ice cream, right?
Yeah.
So I want to have this after the break, but go ahead.
Yeah, well, both my kids really like the chocolate flavor, but with this comes a recipe book for all different flavors. So we have chocolate chip cookie dough and pistachio and strawberry and every flavor you can imagine. And every month we're sending our customers new recipes so they can never get bored and continually try different recipes. It works really well in soft serve ice cream machine too, so it's a lot of fun.
Where can they get it? Is there a website?
Yeah, you can go to fitfreeze.com, and I've actually set up free samples for everyone, both the audience and the viewers.
Free samples of ice cream, come on guys.
Yeah.
So you know what they like.
Yeah, so if you go to www.fitfreeze.com/free, you'll get, just enter your information, we'll send you a free sample directly to your doorstep.
Thank you for doing that. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and here's the concept. Quick concepts are, number one, that deprivation never really works for weight loss or fitness. Number two is that, if you get the right components in your body of proteins, fat, carbohydrates that are complex, and fiber really can work. You know, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get tips from someone with an elite NFL clientele. Please stay with us.
I like pop. I like ice cream. So I have to learn. I can't just drink that every day, all day.
Correct.
I can't just eat ice cream every day, all day. So then, you know.
But you do eat it sometimes.
Oh, of course.
Good.
With the best of them.
Welcome back. You're watching the Dr. Nandi Show, and we appreciate that. We're talking about fitness and how it has to be a part of everyday life in order to create long-term changes. Now, there are all sorts of good reasons to incorporate more movement into your life. One of them is the possibility sometimes of an NFL contract. My next guest has worked with some of the best players in the NFL. Please welcome trainer Jeff Johnson. Jeff, thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. And you know, and before we got on the show, we were talking about an amazing story. You took someone who was actually homeless all the way to the NFL combine, and tell us about that story, please.
Back in 2010, it was a kid brought to me. His name was Glenn Winston. And he got kicked off the team, and one of his old teammates came to me and said, "Hey, coach, do you think you can help this kid?" Well, me and my wife, you know, he met us both, and I went to where he was living, and they didn't have any electricity or running water.
Oh, wow.
So I came back home, and it just didn't sit right with me. So I talked to my wife. I drove back and got him. And we just started our journey just working together. You know, we just wanted to get him back good and standing on his own 2 feet. He went to school. He went to Northwood University. And the rest is history. We ended up working out for everybody, and he played for the San Francisco 49ers. And then he did the last 3 years with the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, man, thank you so much for doing that. That's a great story. I mean, that speaks volumes about you as a person. But, you know, he's an elite athlete, right? And his work schedule and his workout schedule and his fitness and nutrition is very different. What about the person who's a weekend warrior or the person who's just trying to move every day? What lessons can we take from that individual that we can apply in our lives? Because people are struggling, they don't even know what to do.
You have to have a starting point. So once you get the starting point, you don't just jump straight into it. You know, you have to learn what you need to do first. So you just take small steps, say three days out of the week. So you master the 3 days out of the week, and then you work to 4 days, and then you work with your diet. You know, I like pop, I like ice cream. So I have to learn. I can't just drink that every day, all day.
Correct.
I can't just eat ice cream every day, all day. So then, you know.
But you do eat it sometimes.
Oh, of course.
Good.
With the best of them. You know, so I can't eat it every day. So I'll say, you know what? On Saturday, I'll have some ice cream. You know, if I go to the movies, maybe I'll have a pop. Because my health is more important than anything else. So I think with some of your football players, that's how they make their living. Their body is the way they make their living. So if their body is in good shape, they're going to run fast. They're going to hit hard. So you just have to maintain that mindset, and you start from somewhere. And eventually, you just stick at it. It's just like with everything else. Hard work
pays off. And I love what you said. 2 things I love what you said is no deprivation. So not that I'm never going to eat ice cream again, or I'm never going to eat whatever again. I'm not going to do this. That's the key to failure, number 1. Number 2 is set a starting point and have realistic expectations, right? I mean, you want to sit there and you say, I'll start with 2 days or 1 day or whatever days or however minutes, have a starting point and then have goals to move forward. How important is purpose and goal? This gentleman you took from, you know, having almost nothing to the NFL had a goal. To me, it's really all about having a goal of why you're doing it. How important is that, do you think, in fitness goals, having a purpose in doing what you're doing?
The goals are the most important thing. They keep you on track. If you just go to the gym and you don't really have a goal of what you want to look like or what you want to obtain, you're just walking around the gym socializing.
Right.
So you have to have a goal.
And there are a lot of people doing that.
Oh,
But you
man.
see them like this.
Yeah, oh yeah, the selfies, yeah, for
And
sure.
they get the right, because you got to get yourself skinny too. You know? I'm sorry,
Yeah, for
I
sure.
digress. Go ahead.
No, you're right. But so you have to have a goal to say, okay, I want my legs to look a certain way, or I want to be able to run 3 miles or 4 miles. Maybe start with a 5K. Something, start a vacation. What you may want to look like, maybe you want to wear, you know, you don't want to wear the big t-shirt at the beach.
Right.
You know, it's just certain things. You know, I have 3 boys, so I just, you know, I want them to live a healthy lifestyle, so I have to show them how. You know, I have to lead with example. Like I have to say, okay, Monday through Thursday, these are school days. You can't play the video games Monday through Thursday.
Nice.
And you can't, and we're not just going to eat junk Monday through Thursday.
right.
So, you know, it gives them some structure.
And I call it you know, in my book that I wrote, Ask Dr. Nandi, I wrote that 80-20 rule. That's 80% of the time, you've got to do what you know and what we teach you, but 20% of the time you can play, and that makes it realistic, and you can still have your fitness goals. I love what you're teaching, because I think you're teaching a realistic way to achieve fitness. And I'll tell you, if America does what he says, I think 95% of us would have better health outcomes and wellness outcomes. So I appreciate you coming on and telling us the right way to do it. We have to take a break. When we come back, one of the fastest growing trends in the fitness world is the body positive movement. And we'll talk with one lady who is leading the charge to bring the trend to the mainstream. Please stay with us.
And so I decided I was not going to bully my body anymore, that I was going to be grateful that my body showed up for me the best way it knew how, and I was going to feed it and I was going to treat it with love and respect, as opposed to always being this place of hatefulness.
Welcome back. You are watching the Dr. Nandi Show. This is going to be a great segment here. The body positivity movement is radically changing how society views what it means to be fit. Because of social media, millions of people are being exposed to the notion that you don't have to be a size 2 to be considered healthy and happy. Joining us now is an emerging leader in the fitness world who promotes the body positive philosophy. Her Yoga for All movement inspires and empowers thousands of followers around the planet, regardless of their shape and size. And I love it. Please welcome Dianne Bondy to the show. Thank you so much. I love that you're doing it. Tell me about the body positive movement, and tell me all about it. How'd you get into it, and why is it important for you?
Well, you know what? For most of my life, I've been a big girl, right? I've been what I like to call abundant-bodied.
I like that, abundant bodies.
Abundant-bodied.
Very nice.
And I have been fighting my genetics for a really long time. So my mother put me on a diet when I was 8 years old. So yeah, and so what ended up happening for me is I learned to hate my body pretty early on. And I picked up some really bad habits. So I developed an eating disorder that I battled for the better part of 20 years. And I just came to the point that I wanted to feel good in my body, and I didn't want to battle my genetics, right? So I will never be a size 2. I will never have a thigh gap. But that doesn't mean that I can't be fit and healthy at the size that I am. And so I decided I was not going to bully my body anymore, that I was going to be grateful that my body showed up for me the best way it knew how, and I was going to feed it and I was going to treat it with love and respect, as opposed to always being this place of hatefulness. And as a culture, we're always telling everybody, and especially women, be quiet, be smaller, sit down. And I'm not that person. I'm like, go big, go home, enjoy who you are. And fitness does not have to look a certain way. We can be fit at any size, but we have to start with loving ourselves first in order for that to happen. You can't heal a body you hate.
That's exactly right. Well said. And one of the key things that we talked about, I'd like to kind of point out, is that we have a culture in which, unless you are reality-based or, you know, photoshopped, size 0, size 2, because that's the only thing that's supposed to matter. But you said something very interesting. Do not bully your body. Don't hate your body, because that is a recipe for failure. Here's why. As a physician, when you bully your body, when you hate your body, you increase something called cortisol, because that increases stress. And guess what cortisol does? Mr. Cortisol helps you get bigger. So you hate your body because it's big, and then you give yourself all of the great help to become bigger. It doesn't mean that big can't be beautiful, but if you're hating your body, then you will become big in an unhealthy way. So that's the key thing. Tell us about the body positive movement and how we can change that conversation in America.
Absolutely. So the body positive movement really started to take traction in about 2014, 2015. And a few friends of mine, colleagues in the yoga industry, came together and we created something called the Yoga and Body Image Coalition, where we wanted to tackle some of the misnomers around what it means to be in a bigger body, right? And so what the body positive movement is ultimately doing is taking away this idea of fat shaming people, that somehow shaming people into weight loss is going to make them lose weight. And if that were true, then we wouldn't have overweight people.
Everybody would be.
Right? And if one diet worked, or if dieting worked at all, there would be one diet, everybody would do it.
Not
and everybody,
1,000 of them.
Right? And we wouldn't see a 98% failure rate. So we know this for sure. The data backs it up. So I'm really a big proponent of health at every size. So if we can get people to be okay in the bodies that they're in right now, then they're more likely to take care of their bodies, and perhaps weight loss may become a goal, or lowering their blood pressure, or taking care of their diabetes. But if we continue to shame people and fat shame people, we're never gonna get there.
Absolutely.
So that's why the body positivity movement is so important. And it was really more about fat positivity, that it's okay to be fat. We have this idea that it's totally a bad thing, that all fat people are unhealthy, and it's not true. There's evidence and there's research that bears this out. So when I think of all the things that my body does for me, I think, this is the only vehicle I have in order to experience this miracle we call life. It's actually worthy of my love more than it is of my criticism. So I have these two beautiful children here that my body did for me. I get up every morning, I go for a walk, and what I do is I take care of my body. I eat well, I exercise, I do yoga, and I feel good. And I'm not gonna be a size 2, and I'm not gonna kill myself to try to get there.
Good for you.
Having said that, there are people who are naturally a size 2, and that's okay too.
That's okay as well.
That's okay too.
And I think you made some very good points. Number one is that diets don't work. They call me the undiet doctor because I 100% believe it. It's only about portion control and learning to eat what you love in portions that you need. Now, you also have this amazing book, and I'll tell you, we don't have enough time to talk all about it, but it's Yoga Rising, and you can get it. Where can they get it?
Amazon, your local bookstore. You can go to the Yoga and Body Image Coalition website, and
lots of great information. So thank you for being with us. When we come back, we'll continue our talk with Dianne and see some of the skills she teaches her students. Stay right with us.
So not all of us are going to be super able-bodied and be able to do all these things, but we'll be able to do some version of these things.
What you can, right?
And exactly.
You're watching the Dr. Nandi Show, and we thank you for staying with us. Today we're talking about fitness with a purpose, and we're learning that being healthy and fit is not defined by your body size or type. And still with us is celebrated yogi Dianne Bondy, who travels the planet spreading her body positive philosophy. Thank you again for hanging around with us. I appreciate it.
Thank
Of course. But here's a question that I'm sure a lot of people here as well as at home. So you are going to show us some moves, right?
Yeah, I'm going to show you some stuff
Are you
for
guys ready?
beginners.
And these are easy for beginners to try, right?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So I'll start off with a basic sun salute, which is probably what you see in most yoga classes. And if you wanted to liken it to a particular exercise, it's kind of like a burpee almost, but it's something that's slowed down and nice and easy. So with me today, I have cork blocks. So if you have really tight hamstrings and you can't quite reach the floor, it brings the floor to you.
Nice.
So what I like to do is I like to reach up and open my chest, push down through my feet, and honor my body. And the whole time that I'm practicing, I say to my body, thank you for showing up, right? Like, thank you for bending forward. Then I bring my hands to the block, and I'm gonna step back with my right foot, take my right knee to the floor. So this is great for opening your hip. This is great for stretching. And then I'll come back to a tabletop position. And often when people come to me in my practice, they're coming because they have a sore back. So then what I'll do is a few stretches for the back, and we call this cat-cow. So that's a nice stretch. And then I'm gonna bring my knees back, shift my shoulders forward, and I'm gonna do a strength move called moving down through chaturanga. So I'm halfway down, and I push all the way down. Then I'm gonna bring my legs together, squeeze my thighs together, come into a little cobra. So that's really good for strengthening your back. Then I'm gonna step my bottom back towards my heels, stretch out my low back, come back through center, a little cat-cow here. So these are all just really slow, basic moves that you can do. Then walk both hands to the right, step the left foot forward, and I can inhale and reach up. And then bring both hands to the blocks for a little bit of assistance, and then step your left or your right foot forward to meet your left. And when you're in your forward fold, you're really beginning to open up the low back. You're stretching out the hamstrings. There's a little bend in the knee. I'm pushing down through the feet, and then inhale and come all the way up. And the entire time that I'm practicing, my internal narrative is, thank you for showing up in this body. So another thing I do is standing poses, which are good for balance. I work.
Before you do that, let me just say one thing she's doing that's really important is that you are thanking your body, and it says those are just not words. Those are giving your body cues that help your body fulfill those exercises, whatever you're doing, whether it's yoga or others. Remember to thank your body, and what that message, it's a positive message to your body, gets those muscles going, gets your mind activated to move. It's really, you have to remember, when you look at this, again, most of you are taping this, so you can do this again at home, because she is I'll say it, she's a maybe they can edit that out, but that was amazing. They can edit that out, but you know, they could see that on video and watch those moves. But remember what she said. Tell your body and thank your body for what it's about to do. But go ahead, please.
Yeah, and thanking your body for showing up in whatever capacity it can show up in. So not all of us are going to be super able-bodied and be able to do all these things, but we'll be able to do some version of these things.
What you can, right?
And exactly. So my philosophy in teaching yoga is to come as you are, to use what you have, props, walls, mat, and to do what you can. And that's a start. It's better than nothing at all.
Absolutely.
So this particular pose is called Warrior 2, and I like it because then it makes me feel fierce.
Yes! Isn't she fierce?
Fierce. Then I straighten out through that front leg. I'm gonna bring my hand to a block, and I like to do a triangle because I have tight hamstrings. And so I pair my yoga practice with walking. I walk about 10K a day for my American friends. That's 6.2 miles. And so I get these really tight hamstrings. So I really like to stretch my body out. So this opens my hips. Standing poses are something everybody can do. It creates a little bit of balance. And then I straighten out through my front leg, do a little hamstring stretch. And I like to use props because that makes yoga a little more accessible to everybody. And yoga is more of a strength building exercise. So when I share it with my clients, it's about being stronger in your body and feeling stronger in your body. And I primarily work with seniors, and seniors really want to work on, or older adults I should say, really want to work on balance. And they want to work on,
because they don't want to fall,
break a hip, and they also want to live successful lives for longer. So they want to be able to have independent living for longer. So that means they may have to open heavy doors. That means they may have to carry groceries into the house. So you want the exercise or the yoga practice to be functional to your life.
Absolutely.
And so if we're just doing things because we think we should be doing them, I think it loses a little bit of
its potency.
Yes, but if we're doing things because it's functional, then we can see how that works throughout our entire life.
We have to wrap this segment. It's been amazing. Isn't she amazing? An amazing thing that she said was, the last thing she said, have purpose in your movement.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do yoga for just doing yoga, but if you have a purpose in doing it, it becomes so much more useful, and you can continue to do it. Also, the fact is, come as you are. Love that, because you know what? That's all you got, right? I mean, if you are sitting there saying, I will be only happy if I have a different body, out of luck, and that is a recipe for failure.
Yep.
I mean, you're amazing.
Thank you.
High
Thank
five.
you. Thank you.
We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll ask the audience to get some questions for our panel of experts. Stay with us, please.
And we also have to remember that exercise is cumulative. So if you can't work out for an hour, but you can work out like for 10 minutes 3 times a day or 4 times a day, that will help you get stronger.
Welcome back. You're watching the Dr. Nandi Show, and we are back with our guest to talk about what? Fitness with purpose. With us again is Chad Tackett of Fitera, NFL trainer Jeff Johnson, and our amazing yoga instructor Dianne Bondy. You guys ready for some questions?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. First question. Yes, gentlemen.
How many days a week would you recommend for the average person to work out?
You know what I'll do is I'll have, maybe Thad can take this one.
Yeah, sure. I would say whatever's realistic to your lifestyle. I mean, you know, if you could go 5 times a week, that would be great. But it's got to be realistic, otherwise you're just not going to stick with it. And I'd take every opportunity, even when you can't exercise, to be as active as you can, doing the things you love. So, yeah, 5 times a week would be great, but if that's not realistic, even 3 would be great.
And Diane, I have a question for you from social media.
Oh.
Will Muhammad on Twitter says, how long does it take to go from a beginner to be able to do some of the amazing, I put amazing on there, to do the amazing stuff that you do, some of the most difficult poses in yoga? How long should it take?
Well, again, there's no absolute, and so everybody is going to be different, and everybody's ability is going to be different. But I kind of think of myself, even though I am able to do some of these more complicated poses, I still consider myself a beginner because there's lots to learn in yoga, and I'm more interested in the journey as opposed to the outcome. So realistically, like my colleagues have said, if you want to have a practice 3 to 5 days a week is great. But if you can only get on your mat for 10 minutes, that counts. I call that the gift of 10 minutes. And we also have to remember that exercise is cumulative. So if you can't work out for an hour, but you can work out like for 10 minutes 3 times a day or 4 times a day, that will help you get stronger. So for me personally, it took me about, I would say, a full year of practicing 3 to 5 times a week to get strong enough. And for other people, they may be really physically strong and what I call genetically able, and they might get to those poses right away with never practicing. So
no rules, just right.
Yeah.
And here's the thing also is that I love that you said I'm still a student.
Always.
One of the best ways to get really good at something is to continue to what? Practice at it, right? I mean, you talk about Michael Jordan still practiced every single day. You know, Tiger Woods at his best. Tom Brady still does what? They're students of the game, right? And I'm a gastroenterologist. I've been practicing for 2 decades. One of the best compliments my professor gave me, you know what he said? He said, you are still a student.
Always.
Love that. So here's the key. Doesn't matter how long it takes you to become an expert. Doesn't matter what an expert is. Set your goals and then keep moving to them and then past them. So if your goal is, and I think you said it, Jeff, also, is that if your goal is to do this for 1 day a week, all right, do it and then go past it. Just remember what your goals are. So I'll give you some rapid fire, 15, 20 seconds. What one best tip would you give for people that are watching? What one best tip would you give them?
Self-care is everything. So look at your exercise or your practice as a way to take care of yourself, and then it becomes part of your routine and it becomes much more sustainable.
Awesome. Jeff, what do you think?
You have to understand who you really are first before you can move forward. So you understand that I need to help myself. And then you take one starting point and you just work hard at it. It's just simple to me.
Awesome. Chad, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's making sure that you're enjoying yourself and enjoying the journey. Make sure that you're enjoying the foods, because if you feel like you're depriving yourself, it's just not at all realistic that you're going to stick with it. And the same with exercise. If you feel tortured, you're not going to get up in the morning and want to work out. So make sure you're having fun and eating the food that you love.
I love everything you guys said. I think purposeful, have a goal in mind. Number 2, have a good time. Number 3, make it realistic. And the last thing is, doesn't matter what anybody says about what you're doing, do it for yourself. Have a personal relationship with yourself, because the most important relationship that you can have is with yourself. That's what it matters. So thank you so much for coming back again and answering questions. We'll be back with Partha's prescriptions. Please stay with us. Welcome back. You've been watching the Dr. Nandi Show, and today we learned some amazing ways to make fitness and movement a more regular part of your life. Here's what we can take away in Partha's prescriptions. First, it's a good idea to aim for 30 minutes of exercise per day. Also, make sure there's a clear purpose driving your fitness goals. Without one, it's difficult to stay focused for the long haul. And find a tribe to support you while you're working on the new you. And finally, being healthy and staying in shape doesn't mean you can't have fun with food. Experiment. There are lots of amazing healthy food options out there for you. To stay informed about today's topic and learn about healthy living, visit me at AskDrNandy.com. Also, I'd love to hear from you. Be sure to search Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and search Partha Nandi MD, and please join our discussion. And lastly, there's a beautiful word in the Hindi language that literally means the light in me honors the light in you, and that word is namaste. So namaste to each and every one of you. I appreciate you watching, and I will see you next time.